Hello and welcome to Beyond the Headlines. I'm your host, Justin Chenette, where we connect you to the community through the Journal Tribune. And today's guests, it's going to be so exciting because we're talking about University College at Saco and the importance of post-secondary education, how to pay for it, and some of the neat programs that they have right in our own backyard, which is something that I always like to discover. So we have Dan Philbrick, who's the director of the program, and Ashley Belanger, who's one of the students of the program at UMA. So let's break this down, because every time I try to explain University College at Saco, somebody might say, there's a college here, there's a university, and its connection to the greater university system and kind of understanding how that all breaks down. Dan, let's delve into that.
Yeah, Justin, I know exactly what you're talking about because I face those same questions and kind of people scratching their heads when I go out doing chamber events or just meeting people in the community. But University College has actually been in the area for over 30 years, and I think it's still one of those undiscovered hidden gems that is right here in the community, where folks can get associates, bachelors, and some master's degrees, lots of certificate programs, right from the university main system without having to travel far and getting the support that they need locally right in Saco.
And it's located right in the Shaw's.
We're in the Saco Valley Shopping Complex, right directly next to Shaw's, it moved from Saco Island a couple of years ago, and our new location provides us with a lot better parking, great visibility. We're on the bus route, which is really handy for some of our students, and it's just a great space overall.
I will preface the conversation being I actually attended classes when the University College at Saco was Saco Island,
right,
over in the Mills, which was kind of neat to kind of see it in the Mills and then progress to this new location, which is a lot more modern, a lot more kind of upscale, I think, than that location was. But I took, I think, a couple classes while in high school through the early studies program.
They call it the High School Aspirations Program.
There we go. I knew it was something like that. Yeah. And it was neat because it was significantly reduced for high school students to be taking courses, and I was able to get like a semester of classes out of the way going into college. So there's that program that students can take advantage of.
Yeah, in fact, I just heard last week that they're extending that program now to freshmen and sophomore students. Right now, it's only for juniors and seniors.
Right.
We're still kind of learning about how this is going to work with freshmen and sophomore, but regardless, you can get up to 6 credits per semester with the approval of your guidance counselor and their parents of college credit. And if they're, as long as they're not at homeschool or at a private school, they can basically attend tuition free because the Department of Education pays for half of the tuition and the University of Maine at Augusta waives the other half. But if they are homeschooled or come from a private school, the Department of Education doesn't provide the funding, but UMA will still waive half, so it's still really a good deal. My daughter went through the program. When she graduated from high school, she had, I think, 9 credits already towards college, and it saved her that much money, so it was less money in loans, and it positioned her, she got a lot of like the core requirements, classes like college writing and a humanities class, not out of the way, but completed and done, so then she could really start focusing on what she wanted to do in college. So it's a real money saver, and it gets them that kind of jump ahead.
So high school students, listen up. You got to take advantage of that.
Absolutely.
Well, I wish I would have known.
Well, Ashley, let's talk a little bit about your own experience. As we were kind of talking off camera, you initially went into a career of fashion design merchandising?
Fashion merchandising, yeah.
And what is that? What's fashion merchandising?
I work for Forever 21, and we basically do displays, do the windows, put things together to make the consumer come in and want to buy.
Entice us in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Instead of coming in to buy one thing, you want to come in and
that
buy a
sweater.
whole. Exactly.
And so now you are studying for a bachelor's degree?
Yeah, and mental health and human sciences with a concentration in substance abuse counseling.
So that's a little bit of a switch.
A huge switch, yeah. So, but it has been something I've always wanted to do. It was just kind of like finding the time Obviously, as you get older, you have more things on your plate, but
What was that deciding factor, though, for you that said, you know what, I'm going to take the leap of faith? And do it?
it was kind of just I was ready for a change. I had been doing my other job for 8 years, and it was like, all right, it's now or never. Not now or never, but it was. If I don't do it now, then I probably won't.
Felt like this was the time.
Yes,
Yeah.
seize the moment.
Seize the moment.
So
you're going into your junior year.
Yes.
So how are classes going so
Good.
far?
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I really do. It's great that the Saco campus is right there because I live in Biddeford, and a lot of the tests and stuff are proctored, which means you have to go to a site. You can't take them online. And so the fact that, the Saco campus is less than 10 minutes from my house is super, super helpful. Or if I need to go in and watch a lecture, I can do it. I don't have to drive to Augusta or another site that's farther away.
And now,
So-
how did you learn about the program? Like, how did you ended up with this particular
With
program?
UMA.
Yeah.
I was just researching different schools or something that would work for a working person and a mother, someone with a family that, help you, that work with you. And UMA seemed like the best. And then the fact that Saco branches right there was probably the deciding factor for that.
And that's really our huge strong point for students like Ashley. Our average age of the center is 31. It's predominantly female, over 90%, and it really caters to those folks that have a life outside of getting a college degree, but they realize that I really want this degree to either advance myself or get a promotion or just change of career. The types of courses that we offer, and we can offer courses from any of the 7 University of Maine campuses throughout the state. So the majority of our students are in a program from the University of Maine at Augusta, but we have USM students, we have students that are in programs from Machias, and it's really catered and geared towards their time, and it's based on the way we deliver classes. There's 4 different modes. There's still the traditional on-site, which is becoming less and less of a thing now, I'm discovering, at least for here in Saco. Some of the centers have strong on-site presence. We don't, and I think it's because our students choose the online and video conference or instructional TV features. I think you've taken quite a few instructional TV or ITV courses.
Yeah, I do ITV, but I do, if I want to get out, sometimes it's like I like to get out of the house
Sure.
and watch something, so it is nice to have that option.
And that they can come in and watch the class while the professor is lecturing. But the neat thing about instructional television is they have a feature called delayed view, which means that they can go home, be at home or be somewhere where they have internet access and watch that same class 2 hours after it finishes, and it stays in the queue all semester, so they can review, they can go back and rewatch lectures. So it's really education on their time, which is great if you're working and let's say you have a 8 to 4 shift or you're working during the days, but that class you really want is in the morning and that's the only time it's being offered. You can still register for the class, but watch it on your time that evening. Or, like Ashley does, I want to get away, I need a break, because if I'm at home there's going to be too many distractions. People come into the center, we have all the support systems there in place with advising, financial aid, tutoring, quiet study areas, or they can just watch their class. And there's free coffee. So.
You can't beat that. Yeah, and snacks. So that's good. So on-demand education, it seems like that is the direction we're starting to notice, not just around here locally, but across the country, where it's sort of virtual classrooms. Is that where you're seeing not just the local program, but post-secondary education?
Absolutely. We have students that will come in for a proctored exam and contact us saying, I need to come in. And these are students I've never heard them before. I never heard of them before. I never seen them before. They're online and they're getting their degree through University College using our center, but it's basically on their time. But I think that is absolutely where higher ed is going. It's still not for everyone. Being online, it really requires a lot of self-discipline. You have to still make sure you do the work and listen to the lectures. But that's really what the center's there to support, through tutoring, through advising, answer any questions, scholarship resources, things like that.
So Ashley, walk me through one of those types of classes. Do you notice that there's a big difference or a big shift for you in learning in that type of environment versus like an in-class setting might be?
When I watch it ITV, yeah, I watch it usually 2 hours later. It's not so much. The only thing that is hard is obviously you can't speak with the teacher, like ask questions or whatever.
Right.
But I still enjoy the classes. It's interesting. You can call. If you watch it live, like if I go to the site and watch it, if my class is at 9:30 and I actually sit in Saco and watch it, you can call in and speak to the professor and ask whatever questions that you want.
That's good.
So that's good. But if you're watching it from home, obviously you don't have that luxury. But I love it. I really do. I like that better than taking a class that's strictly online where you have there's no lecture, there's
Right.
no communication at all,
No
with
engagement.
nothing.
Yeah, right.
So that is a little bit harder than actually getting to see the professor, and you kind of get to know them a little bit. So
Right.
And you haven't taken any video conference classes?
not yet, but
video-
I'm sure
yeah.
maybe my senior year, I think I might have to do
Video
that.
conference is the other mode, and that is two-way communication. So you'll be seeing people that may be in Augusta, but there'll be a class in South Paris at the center there, the Rockland Center, Brunswick, and then you're in Saco. And when you speak, the camera focuses on you, and then everybody hears you at the same time.
Oh.
It's
No, I haven't-
it's
yeah.
synchronous.
Yeah, I haven't done that.
Sign me up.
I-
That's great. So you are technically a UMA student.
Yes.
So University of Maine at Augusta. Dan, this might be a question for you. Kind of break down for me, if I'm a student who's looking at either later in life or early on board, wanting to sign up for classes. It's not that they sign up as a university college at Saco student.
No.
It's more of one of the primary campuses, and then this is sort of like a satellite site.
Well, I guess we wouldn't call it a satellite site, but my former boss used to tell me that we have no students. We support the students of all 7 campuses. Obviously, enrollment's always a factor and things like that, but I always kind of liked that idea. So you could come in and you could be a matriculated student or enrolled at USM. We're still going to support that student. And University of Maine at Augusta, things like that. The majority of our students are University of Maine at Augusta students, and we do come under University of Maine at Augusta administratively because every organization needs its place in the system to
Of
fall
course.
for
Yeah.
human resources and things like that. But we do support all 7 campuses as long as their programs can be offered through a distance ed model and delivered that way. We can support those students.
So a student at USM that lived locally wanted to take a class, instead of at the Portland campus, they wanted to take it if it was offered. They could
Absolutely. In fact, this is quite interesting. The majority of our student workers that we employ at the center actually come from the University of Southern Maine because they live in this area, and they might have in their financial aid package a work-study option. We hire quite a few of those students that live in York County or this general area, and it saves them the extra 20, 25 minutes going up the road to Portland to find a job on campus there, and it's just more convenient for them.
Great. Now, how many students approximately do you have at the center?
It changes every semester. Fall is usually a little larger, and then spring it kind of breaks down a little bit less. But right now we have about 300 to 400 students that are associated with University College Saco, and the majority of them are online. But and again, in the spring it might go down a little bit because people tend to ramp up in the fall and then
Right.
either take a break in the spring or cut down in the spring. And then of course summertime is very quiet. But summertime is actually a great time to get caught up or get ahead.
Right.
It's sometimes difficult to focus in the summertime based on all the great things that
It really
you can
is.
do.
So nice outside,
Yeah.
right?
This has been a hard summer to take classes. I just took one, and it's condensed,
Right,
which
they
makes
can
it
be
even
condensed.
more
Right.
Yeah.
tricky because you're taking that one class where you would usually have it 1 day a week. It's now 2 days a week at whatever 2 hours and 45 minutes each class.
Right. But if
So-
you can really, if you can gear yourself to
Yes.
do it, it's a great time to, get ahead.
Yep.
Or let's say you had a problem with a particular class in the fall semester and you wanted to retake it or refocus on something, it's a great time also to
Yeah.
do something like that as well.
You could still go to the beach.
Oh, you
There's still
totally
time.
can. Yeah, and it's a good way to stay focused. Like I like taking classes in the summer, so then I don't get out of that
the
routine.
zone,
Yeah, I
right, yeah.
stay
Right.
focused, and then go back to full time once the summer's over.
Now, how many semesters do you have left before you graduate?
So let's see, 4 semesters. So yeah, I'll do the fall and the spring this year, and then 2017 into 2018. So I'll graduate in 2018.
And so, what is your goal after you graduate that you want to do?
I'd like to do case management for a little bit, just to network, get my feet wet a little bit in the field, and then move into substance abuse counseling, and then ultimately get my master's of education to be a school counselor.
Great.
So that might be a couple years from now, but that's
building blocks.
Yeah, it's building.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the ultimate goal.
Now, Ashley's focusing on mental health and substance abuse. If you were to identify like one major that's more prevalent at University College of Saco, what would that be?
She's actually in the biggest major that UMA offers, Mental Health and Human Services, and actually it's one of the largest programs in the whole system.
Oh, wow.
So I could probably point to, out of a lineup of 5 people, I could point to 3 of them and say, I bet you're a mental health and human services major, and I'd probably win. But that's just the odds. A second most prevalent major in Saco is business studies or business administration. And then a program we're really trying to build, and it's stronger at some centers than others, is the computer information systems. They now have a cybersecurity bachelor's degree, which is offered through University of Maine at Augusta, University of Southern Maine, Fort Kent, and Orono. They've kind of combined their resources to create this bachelor's in cybersecurity, which I think is a real, is a huge demand right now in the market. For people with those skills. And it's not necessarily, it could be a business that already exists. Many banks, public safety, just about anybody that really has a network needs to protect themselves. And so they're looking for more people with those types of skills. So that's a program I'm hoping to grow at this center and in this area, and because I think there's going to be a need for it. And But those, the mental health and human services and the business administration are our 2 largest programs.
Now, I want to talk a little bit about financing your post-secondary education experience, because oftentimes, especially nowadays, everyone's talking about student loan debt. Everyone's talking about how can we afford to go to college. Some might say, how do you afford not to? But let's
Right.
kind of delve into, for you, Ashley, how do you make it work?
Well, I got a scholarship through UMA, the adult completion certificate or scholarship. So I got that the first year, and then I got it again this year, and I got doubled what I got last year. So that is super helpful for books or just finances in general. But yeah, the financial aid part is tricky because the first time I went to school, my mom would have helped me do it, and so this time around it's like I'm doing all this myself. But when if you apply for grants, if you do it earlier, there's more grants out there, which is helpful. I'm kind of trying not to worry about it so much now and wait until that 6 months after I graduate, but I think it will be good.
But in comparison, probably to an outside or a private institution, it's probably a lot cheaper.
Yes. Much, which is helpful. And that was one of the other things when I was, doing my research for where I was going to go. Obviously, that's a factor. I mean, when you have a mortgage and other bills and a family, you got to put that into perspective. So that's another great thing about UMA.
And there's a lot of resources for students that want to either go back to school or for the first time, but especially later in life, there's probably some opportunities for people.
Yeah, absolutely. The adult degree completion scholarship, as Ashley mentioned, is one. That's for folks that have, 30 at least 30 credits from college already, and for whatever reason they stopped attending or just kind of like life got in the way. They can come back and get that scholarship to kind of like kickstart them again. The other one that we really promote at the center is the Osher Scholarship, and that's for folks that have less than 30 credits or maybe have never tried college at all, never really thought about it, want to try. It provides them a free course, including books to get them started, so it gives them a taste of what it's going to be like. That way they don't go into debt. And then if they continue and matriculate into a degree program, they can then have an additional course that next semester that, free of charge that includes the tuition, fees, and books again. And then there are other scholarships, and they're all listed on our website. And then the other thing to do really is to apply for financial aid, when it becomes available, because yes, there might be some loans involved, but there's a lot of federal programs out there that really help students so that they don't go into debt. And we have a financial representative from MEOC that's at Saco every Thursday, and she can meet with folks. And even if they're not enrolled, she can tell them, well, this is the thing to do, and this is how to prepare. And I'm trying to remember what MEOC stands for. It's the Maine Education Opportunity.
It's pop quiz today.
Right,
yeah.
right. I know. But
the key is that she can help. No.
Exactly, and that's the other great thing about the centers is we all have representatives from MEOC that come in to assist the students and really just the general community if they have questions about applying for financial aid.
Now, Ashley, if you were to identify sort of that 30-second pitch why you should come to either UMA or the University College at Saco, what would you say to somebody who's never heard of the program or this is the first time?
I would say that if you're thinking about going back or starting, and you have, a life outside of school, a family, a job, that it's the place to go to feel supported, to feel really supportive. It's affordable. I feel like they can help you get to that place that you want to be. I think actually, like I said, the biggest thing is just feeling supportive, and that you don't feel like you can juggle all those things sometimes, but that UMA it makes it possible to feel that you can wear many hats.
Oh yeah.
So.
Now, Dan, if you were to identify something that you really want people to know about University College at Saco, but it's been sort of just hard to get out there, like what would be the one thing you'd want to tell somebody that here's your opportunity? What would it be?
I think it's exactly everything Ashley just said. It's local, it's convenient, it's really on your time as a student. Some things might take a little longer than others because you're basing it on your time, but it's in the community, it's affordable, it's convenient, and the support I think that the centers all provide are what really make us shine and stand out, because it can be pretty daunting and overwhelming, especially at this stage of your life, to be going back to getting a college degree. That's what we really, it's all about the students. The students come first, and we make sure that they're supported before really anything else.
Now, if people want to learn more information about the program, what can they do?
Well, they can go to our website, learn.maine.edu/Saco. They can just stop by, so if they're shopping at Shaw's, or maybe they're at the laundromat next door, or Rennie's, feel free to stop in anytime we're open. They can always give us a call, and or email us. I mean, we're available really in whichever people feel most comfortable with contacting us. We'll make sure that we get back to them.
Even Facebook.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, like us on Facebook.
Yeah, I was going to say it's really easy, and everyone always emails back right away at the site. Like if you have a question, it's like prompt,
That's
which
great.
is always
Sometimes
helpful.
even on the weekend.
Yeah,
sounds
yeah.
nice.
My
So
goodness.
they get you in there. If you have a question, it will be answered.
Okay. Well, thank you both for coming on, and good luck, Ashley,
Thank
to the
you.
rest of your schooling and beyond. I'm really
Yes.
excited to see what you can do moving forward. It'll be really exciting.
Thank
So-
you.
Justin.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching Beyond the Headlines. I've been your host, Justin Schnett, where we connect you to the community through the Journal Tribune. We'll see you right back here next time.